Stephen Paul Jobs is an American inventor, designer, entrepreneur, co-founder, CEO, and chairman of Apple Computer. Much has been said about Steve Jobs: controversial, visionary, perfectionist, inventor, genius. His innovative Apple products, such as the iPod, iPhone, and iPad, are now considered reference points for the development of the latest technology. Jobs, he was born in 1955, is to graduate students at the University of Wisconsin and wanted to be adopted. Jobs was a bright but disorienting kid who, after dropping out of college and experimenting in 1976, he founded Apple with Steve Wozniak. Jobs left Apple in 1985 to found Pixar Animation Studios, and more than a decade later he returned to Apple. Jobs died in 2011 after a long battle with pancreatic cancer. The life of Steve Jobs, his story tells us a lot about not being afraid to take risks. He has bounced back from defeat to become more successful than ever before. Though many of his methods are considered unconventional, he knows how to get others to accomplish the impossible. Stephen Jobs quotes to inspire your life: "The most precious thing that we all have with us is time. Don't take it all too seriously. If you want to live your life in a creative way, as an artist, you have to not look back too much. You have to be willing to take whatever you've done and whoever you were and throw them away. People judge you on your performance, so focus on the outcome. Be a yardstick of quality. Some people aren't used to an environment where excellence is expected. And most important, have the courage to follow your heart and intuition. They somehow already know what you truly want to become. Everything else is secondary. Don't let the noise of others' opinions drown out your own inner voice. We don't get a chance to do that many things, and every one should be really excellent, because this is our life. Life is brief and then you die, you know. So this is what we've chosen to do with our life. So it's a lot of hard work and it's a lot of worrying constantly. And if you don't love it, you're going to fail. So you've got to love it and you've got to have passion, and I think that's the high order bit. You get your wind back, remember the finish line, and keep going. If you are willing to work hard and ask lots of questions, you can learn business pretty fast. You have to believe that the dots will somehow connect in your future. For you to sleep well at night, the aesthetic, the quality, has to be carried all the way through. Let's go invent tomorrow rather than worrying about what happened yesterday. Once you discover one simple fact, and that is everything around you that you call life was made up by people that are no smarter than you. That's been one of my mantras: focus and simplicity. Believing that the dots will connect down the road will give you the confidence to follow your heart. One way to remember who you are is to remember who your heroes are. You have to trust in something, your gut, destiny, life, karma, whatever. Your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. Don't be trapped by dogma, which is living with the results of other people's thinking. If today were the last of your life, would you do what you were going to do today? There is no reason not to follow your heart. When you grow up, you tend to get told that the world is the way it is and your life is just to live your life inside the world. Try not to bash into walls too much. Try to have a nice family life, have fun, save a little money. That's a very limited life. Life can be much broader than that. On being fired from Apple and called back 12 years later, what a circle of life. You know, life is just always mysterious and surprising, and you never know what's around the next corner. I think the things you most regret in life are things you didn't do. What you really regret was never asking that girl to dance. Life goes on and you learn from it. But I believe life is an intelligent thing, that things aren't random. Do you want to spend the rest of your life selling sugared water, or do you want a chance to change the world? We were really working 14 to 18 hour days, 7 days a week, for like 2 years, 3 years. That was our life, but we loved it. We were young and we could do it. Sometimes life hits you in the head with a brick. Don't lose faith. When I was 17, I read a quote that went something like, "If you live each day as if it was your last, someday you'll most certainly be right." It made an impression on me, and since then, for the past 33 years, I have looked in the mirror every morning and asked myself, if today were the last day of my life, would I want to do what I am about to do today? And whenever the answer has been no for too many days in a row, I know I need to change something. Remembering that I'll be dead soon is the most important tool I've ever encountered to help me make the big choices in life. I think death is the most wonderful invention of life. It purges the system of these old models that are obsolete. But it's a disservice to constantly put things in this radical new light, that it's going to change everything. Things don't have to change the world to be important. Do you want to spend the rest of your life selling sugared water, or do you want a chance to change the world? What is Apple, after all? Apple is about people who think outside the box, people who want to use computers to help them change the world, to help them create things that make a difference, and not just to get a job done. My philosophy is that everything starts with a great product. So, I obviously believed in listening to customers. But customers can't tell you about the next breakthrough that's going to happen next year, that's going to change the whole industry. So you have to listen very carefully, but then you have to go and sort of stow away. You have to go hide away with people that really understand the technology, but also really care about the customers, and dream up this next breakthrough. You've got to start with the customer experience and work backward to the technology. You need a very product-oriented culture, even in a technology company. Lots of companies have tons of great engineers and smart people, but ultimately, there needs to be some gravitational force that pulls it all together. Otherwise, you can get great pieces of technology all floating around the universe, but it doesn't add up too much. I used to think that technology could help education. I've probably spearheaded giving away more computer equipment to schools than anybody else on the planet, but I've had to come to the inevitable conclusion that the problem is not one that technology can hope to solve. What's wrong with education cannot be fixed with technology. No amount of technology will make a dent. Simple can be harder than complex. You have to work hard to get your thinking clean to make it simple, but it's worth it in the end, because once you get there, you can move mountains. If they are working in an environment where excellence is expected, then they will do excellent work without anything but self. Motivation. I'm talking about an environment in which excellence is noticed and respected and is in the culture. If you have that, you don't have to tell people to do excellent work. They understand it from their surroundings. Your work is going to fill a large part of your life, and the only way to be truly satisfied is to do what you believe is great work. And the only way to do great work is to love what you do. If you haven't found it yet, keep looking and don't settle. I've always felt that death is the greatest invention of life. I'm sure that life evolved without death at first and found that without death, life didn't work very well because it didn't make room for the young. Apple's the only company left in this industry that designs the whole widget. Hardware, software, developer relations, marketing. Design is the fundamental soul of a man-made creation that ends up expressing itself in successive outer layers of the product or service. To design something really well, you have to get it. You have to really grok what it's all about. It takes a passionate commitment to really thoroughly understand something, chew it up, not just quickly swallow it. Most people don't take the time to do that. I love it when you can bring really great design and simple capability to something that doesn't cost much. It was the original vision for Apple. That's what we tried to do with the first Mac. That's what we did with the iPod. We spent weeks talking about this every night at the dinner table. We'd get around to that old washer-dryer discussion, and the talk was about design. It's really hard to design products by focus groups. A lot of times, people don't know what they want until you show it to them. On making simple designs, it's insane. We all have busy lives, we have jobs, we have interests, and some of us have children. Everyone's lives are just getting busier, not less busy in this busy society. You just don't have time to learn this stuff, and everything's getting more complicated. We both don't have a lot of time to learn how to use a washing machine or a phone. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and like our videos.